slight interruption there. So I have this the interview that my colleague did with Ron Johnson. And again, I want the people that listen to our radio station, our shows, to hear from elected officials because these folks represent us. Whether we voted for them or not, they are our representatives, right? So Tory interviewing Ron Johnson, which quite honestly is par for the course. Ron Johnson has been on the truth more than Tammy Baldwin has, and she's the Democratic senator that needs the African-American vote in order for her to win re-election, which she does handily every 6 years. But Ron Johnson, he's on for Tory like a lot, right? Which, fine. The issue that I have, and this is my issue, it's not Tory's issue, is that Ron Johnson was just spewing Trump propaganda. And there's some people, like, they get most of their political news in Wisconsin and how Wisconsin is impacted from 101.7 The Truth. And I'm so proud of that. I'm fucking proud of it. I can cuss on this platform. But to hear Ron Johnson spew the Trump propaganda was crazy. Let's hear a little bit of it.
101.7 The Truth, Tory Low Show, DJ Brother Z on the ones and twos. Hey, look, Truth Nation, we got a guest. We got Senator Ron Johnson through VMix. So if you're watching as we broadcast live on YouTube, you'll see U.S. Senator Ron Johnson in our live chat. How you doing, Senator?
Well, Tory, I'm doing well. I hope you are too.
Hey, look, it's a lot to cover. I don't know how much time you got, but I got a couple questions I need to talk about. It's a lot of things going on in the state of Wisconsin. I'll start with this situation with the judge. There's talk about what took place. They're saying that the situation had to do with her aiding somebody that may have been looking for through maybe the feds may have been looking for somebody, federal government been looking for somebody, and she was arrested, Hannah Dogan, alleging that she obstructed a detention of an undocumented migrant. What do you know about this situation?
Only what I've read, and I've read a fair amount. What I do know that under the Biden administration, we allowed probably somewhere around 10 million people into this country completely unvetted.
That's a lie.
And now President Trump
a complete and
ran a
total
campaign.
lie. That's
one
Trump
of his primary
propaganda.
promises
Joe Biden
was
did not
to
let
secure the
10
border,
million
which
people
he's
into
by
this
and large
country.
done, and start deporting particularly the criminals. And he's doing that. But what's happening now is his efforts are being frustrated by people like the judge, other individuals. Again, there's no way you can let 10 million plus people coming here completely vetted.
Again, that's a lie.
And then expect
Joe Biden
to be
did not
able
let
to
10 million
give
people in this
full
country.
due process rights to people who are in this country illegally. They're not U.S. citizens. But at a minimum, when you are an officer of the court, and that's what a judge is, and there are lawful arrest warrants or whatever those federal agents had, you need to honor those things. I know the chief judge of that court was apparently writing up rules for how they handle that. By the way, one of the reasons that ICE tries to apprehend people when they're already in a safe setting is for public safety, for the safety of the officers themselves. I mean, if you have to go and conduct a search warrant or an arrest at somebody's location, that's very dangerous for everybody. We've seen that time and time again. So the safest place to apprehend somebody who might be dangerous would be when they're at a court proceeding, probably on some other criminal charge or something. That's a very safe place to do it. The courts ought to cooperate with federal law enforcement. In this case, this judge did not. Instead, she obstructed justice, and she'll pay the price. I mean, again, an officer of the court has, from my standpoint, an even higher duty to uphold the law and not to obstruct justice.
Do you think that her actions will send a message to what they're calling activist judges across the country that may feel like they can, not adhere to some of the Trump administration ideas on when it comes to illegal immigration?
Well, anytime we arrest somebody, charge them with a crime, convict them, one of the reasons we do that is to deter other people from committing the same crime. Now, unfortunately, as you listen to other, and I guess there's a judge up in Northwest Wisconsin says she's going to shut down the courts, because of the situation.
Right.
Unfortunately.
This is the quickest way to clear out stuck poop.
I have to poop.
What is happening?
Stop!
On the left side of the political spectrum, and we have most members of the media also on the left side, these people
Just
are actually
propaganda
emboldened
saying
by
most
this.
members of the media are on the left
They
side.
shouldn't be. I mean,
if you report facts,
anybody
to this
who's now an
administration or
officer
these
of the court
Republicans, they think that you're
ought to,
a damn communist.
take away from this that they need to follow the law. They need to cooperate with ICE when they're carrying out lawful arrest warrants and that.
I can't, because I talked about this on my show. Like, Hannah Dugan was executing due process, which the Trump administration knows nothing about. Whoever the man was who was in Hannah Dugan's courtroom, was he in the country illegally? He was, but he was alleged to have committed a crime while he was in Milwaukee County, in the city of Milwaukee. Meaning he needs to be found guilty of that crime, and then he owes us restitution, the public, that he committed a crime against. Like, you don't allow somebody to commit a crime and then just, let's catch them and deport them, because the people that were victimized by the person in Hannah Dugan's courtroom are not going to see justice. People are not looking at the other side of this. And also, you got a bunch of people that are in this country illegally, and because the process of how you become legal it's difficult, it's arduous, it's expensive. A friend of mine that I didn't even know was in this country illegally, he said it took her and her family 13 years to get their damn citizenship. You had to do spot interviews, you had to provide paperwork, you had to show up at immigration offices whenever they told you to. For 13 years, her and her family had to go through that mess to become a citizen. And that was during the Clinton administration, when there was a hell of a lot. In fact, no, that was in the Reagan, George H.W. Bush administration when my friend's family was going through all of that stuff. So it's a difficult process and it takes a long time. But you also have people that are caught somewhere in not having full citizenship status and maybe having a visa or whatever, that are all subjected to be deported by Donald Trump. Do you know how many people witness crimes? Sometimes crimes in our community where, again, we as victims of crime don't get justice. Do you think that if someone who is in this country illegally is the only witness to a crime, you think they're going to come forward? You think that they're going to provide information, they're going to provide evidence and testimony that can exonerate or that can put a killer away? They will not. Why would they? Why would they? If one of our family members gets murdered, God forbid, and the only person that witnessed the murder of one of our family members is someone who is undocumented, they're not coming forward because they don't want to get deported. So this allows killers to go free. And this is not hyperbole. This stuff is going on right now. And nobody is even considering that. So I don't know. The whole thing is problematic for me, but just as problematic, there are people that think that 101.7 The Truth is a conservative talk radio station. So I don't know. I would play this entire Ron Johnson interview, but I think that people that listen to our respective shows should hear from their elected officials. But when they are spewing just that whole thing with Joe Biden letting 10 million people in the country, like as a U.S. Senator, why wouldn't you want to be accurate with something like that? We're supposed to have separate, co-equal branches of government, not just the legislative branch listening to the executive branch, absorbing the lies of the executive branch, and then treating that as fact. Like that's a problem. All right, I'm signing out now. Apparently this is my outro music. All right, thanks for watching or listening or whatever you guys did.